Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Grumpy Old Gamers podcast. Can't teach an old gamer new tricks. I'm Ryan. I've got the crew with me again. We got Rob, we got Brent, and we got Damon.
How's it going?
And this is episode 125, and we're going to do our 2022 year-end roundup, where we talk about we're going to talk about some honorable mentions that didn't make our top 5 list. Then we'll move into some biggest surprises in gaming, biggest disappointments, what games we're looking forward to in 2023, and then into our predictions, where we just put it all out there, all the crazy stuff we can think of. So, first off, how's everyone doing? I was just ready to get right in there.
Good.
Yeah? All right.
Things are good.
Just ready to roll.
Awesome.
Good.
So, two things I wanted to talk about actually before we get into that. I know. So first up, and I'm gonna break the podcast here because that's what I like to do. Our audio podcast, they sent us a little infographic, and I don't know if you guys can see that there. But I just wanted to go over this quick because there's some funny, cool stuff in here. The thing that got me is we are most downloaded in Frankfurt, Germany. So
to all our listeners in Germany.
Yes, thank you.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
That means something in German, right?
Yeah, Danke
Good
schön.
day.
Danke schön, isn't that...
Yeah. Call me Hasselhoff.
And then, of course, we have a bunch in Edmonton, a bunch in St. Albert, because that's where we're from. And, my mom downloads it, and I'm sure, we...
My mom doesn't.
But, next, in the top 5 here, we got Sao Paulo? Sao Paulo?
São Paulo.
Yeah, in Brazil. So, thank you. I don't even know any
No,
words.
I don't know any
international.
Brazilian. Yeah.
And then in number 5, we got Birmingham, England, I'm assuming.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Or Alabama?
Or Alabama.
Oh, that could be Alabama too,
Could be.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't
We have
say.
people abroad.
Is there one overseas in Europe? Maybe, I don't know. Birmingham.
But yeah, if you look at the top 18 countries of our downloads, actually, I was assuming United Kingdom because of we got a bunch of downloads there. So, the United States actually covers most of our downloads. So, thank you, our American brethren. And the top episodes, I already posted those on the page, but I just thought it was great that from Frankfurt, Germany is our it's our number one downloads. That's great, right? So, you know what? If you're listening to this episode, because it seems like you listen to them, drop us an email at makeusgrumpy@gmail.com. We'd love to hear how you stumbled upon us all the way on the other side of the world.
Absolutely.
The other big news I have is that Jim Ryan of PlayStation has officially stated that the shortage is over. Done. No more shortage, people.
Whatever you need, he's got it.
Whatever you need, he's got it. I think the number I saw was something like 30 million.
Yeah.
30 million were sold last year. So can you guys hear all the craziness going on in the background?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So
It's life.
yeah, and that's
Kinda
the door.
craziness.
That's with the door closed. Um. Anyways,
Look, party time.
yeah. So Mr. Ryan there, he has declared that we are no longer. There is no longer console shortages.
Right. So if I was to walk into Walmart right now,
Well, that's what I was just gonna say.
there'd be 6 PlayStation 5s.
I've yet to see one in the wild. I've
Yeah.
yet to see one in the wild myself.
I haven't
There-
either. Now that I think about it, I've
Uh,
never.
I've seen
weird.
X's and S's,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Xboxes.
everywhere.
I've seen them. But
The shopping channel now has them. They had a
Oh.
listing for forever, but they never had them, but now they actually have them in stock.
oh, interesting.
Some of our listeners may be old enough to remember calling into the shopping channel.
Oh Lord, yes.
Some of our listeners may still call the shopping
Yeah,
network. So,
Rob. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's fine.
well, how else am I going to get my Amico stuff?
This is true. This
It's all
is true.
being closed out.
Yeah. You can do it.
We'll be seeing those PlayStation 5 infomercials any day now.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's kind of weird to say that they're done with the shortage now, and there's supposed to be a new one coming up real soon.
Oh, is there supposed to be another?
Oh yeah, well, I'll get to that later.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's move on into, how about we move into our honorable mentions, the games that didn't quite make our top 5 lists this year.
Let's do it.
Brent, why don't you start us off with this?
Of course. And I'll pick that time to cough. Okay, so I have 2. First off on my list was a game from Square Enix, Harvestella, which I'm sure most people have heard of by now.
Mhm.
You know, mixing the Final Fantasy universe with like Harvest Moon style farming. I was super hyped for it. Played a lot of the demo. It was good. It was good. I liked it. Sad that they really downplayed the farming though.
Oh,
It's just that was kind of like a key component for people that they could farm and
yeah.
and then go out and do their Final Fantasy style battles and everything. And the farming was pretty lackluster. It's just like throw this thing in the ground, water it once, wait a few days, and then you can use it to upgrade or augment things. No actual like growth to make money to do things or
Oh, so it's not
That
like a
was it.
sub. It's not a sub game of
no,
the
it's just kind of tossed in there,
the Oilers
And,
just scored against the Tampa Bay Lightning. If anyone's interested.
I knew something was happening.
Oh, I'm interested.
Sorry, Brent.
Oh, man. It's quite okay. That was awesome. So yeah, I mean, no like serious hardcore farming in it,
Oh,
which I think would have lent to the depth of the game, giving you other things to do rather than just
yeah.
running around. And it's live combat. It's not like they're like turn-based combat. So you just run around, hack and slash things. Go through the story, run back. You don't even have to water your stuff. You just water it once.
Oh,
I found that to be a bit of a letdown because I was actually really hyped for, having that like, Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon kind of thing going on, and using your house in the town as your base for going out and doing adventures and being able to come back and do things and like take a break from it all, But yeah, it's kind of very superficial, which kind of sucks.
And what's the other one you got there?
The other one I actually have is Chinatown Detection Agency.
Oh,
And which the reason I was not on my list was because I only played a very little bit of it. So I didn't have time to give it a fair shake. So it'll probably be on my list for next year, or for this year, actually, I should say. Really, really great concept. You basically open a detective agency, you solve cases. The cases range from, somewhat minor to very complex. The cool thing I found about it was that some cases, it's not very, like, it's not peripheral. You actually have to investigate a case. So, like, and they include real world locations in it. So it made it be like, okay, find out what this looks like, and see if you can match it up with an item from the case. So when you open up your equipment, it actually takes you to a web browser, and you're actually in a Google web browser, and you can use like Google Earth to go and like, you know, view the
Oh,
pyramids of Giza and check things out and actually like investigate things in real time, and then go back into the game and use that knowledge to solve the cases.
no, cool.
So yeah, a really really cool concept, and it works. It works very very well. And yeah, I'm excited to play more of it.
Oh,
Um, I bought it on Switch. It is on Game Pass as well currently. I think still on Game Pass.
oh,
Um, and yeah, really great game to check out if you haven't. And you're just looking for something that's a little a little more sedate to play with and a little more cerebral. Looks like a really good game.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Damon, why don't you hit us with your honorable mentions?
So I played a game, and it's kind of like the Fight Club of video games because you can't really talk about it. And that game's called Inscription.
Oh,
Yeah.
And there was a
Yeah.
lot of buzz about this one, and surprisingly, like a lot of raps have been kind of still kept on this game. Like hasn't been spoiled per se, but like it's a mashup of games all in one, and it's wrapped in a really slick, interesting package. And I definitely think people should check out Inscription. It won't be for everybody. It can get pretty weird, but it's really good, and it's all wrapped. It's a at the surface level, it's a card battling game,
right.
but it also it mixes elements of psychological horror. There's like an escape room type vibe to it going on at the same time. That's not giving up too much because like that's the very start of the game, but it's got a lot of layers. It's really interesting, and the more time you put into it, the better it gets. Yeah, it's a good game. Check out Inscription.
Okay.
And other than that, I played a game called Neon White.
Hmm.
I played it
Yeah.
on Steam, on PC, and you can get it for Switch as well. And it's really interesting. It's a very the tagline for this game was called "It's a game for freaks," and it's also kind of a mashup of different game styles. It's kind of like if you were to take like a speedrunner like dream and mix that with a card battling game and just kind of wrap it all up in this crazy anime setting. It's even got like really interesting voice acting. The story is completely bizarre. I think we may have had something, but anyways, it's definitely
Technical
definitely a good game.
difficulties.
Yeah, a little bit of technical difficulty. We haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just lost Brent.
I'm sure he'll be back. He's going to check out Inscription right
Yeah.
now.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
what happened. He just fired it up.
He couldn't wait any
Uh,
longer.
Good call. But yeah, Neon White. It's fantastic. It's you kind of you start off in any level. You have to obviously get to the end of the level, but in order to do that, you have to terminate the demons, and to do that, you have cards. So it's like a card battling game as well. You pick up the cards, and the card has a firing ability, and it has a discard ability, which allows you to move around the level differently. So, for example, like you can use one of the cards to shoot, and if you choose to discard the card, it'll like boost you forward or allow you to double jump or gives you some type of traversal
Oh.
ability.
It's almost some like roguelike
Yeah,
elements
exactly.
as well.
And it encourages you to try to go through the level in as many different ways and creatively as possible using these cards however you need to. And it's adrenaline fueled, and the soundtrack is awesome. And every time I'm playing it, I'm just like, how long has it been since I've blinked? And that's always a good sign of a good game. So
Awesome.
Right on.
yeah.
Those are your two for the.
Yep, those were my two honorable mentions. Inscription was really close to. There was a couple. I'm like, oh man, I should definitely put this in the top 5. But yeah, Inscription was really close. Neon White also good.
All right, Rob, what were your honorable mentions?
Well, it's a little indie game called Fallout 76. No, I hadn't made that joke yet all year.
Oh, man.
I'm waiting for it. No, the first game on my list here was one that was only not on my top five because I'd taken its sequel already, and it was a little game called Far Lone Sail that we both, actually, I think a few of us have played.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like no speaking, no. You're just basically going from the left to the right on this post-apocalyptic type world in your little sail car, and it's like a just a chill, relaxed, great, great mood kind of game. There's no fighting. There's no boomsticks.
No,
Just
a little bit of puzzle solving and
yeah, a little bit of puzzle solving. And yeah, it has a great sequel as well. Um, can both be played on Game Pass.
I think they're both
The
on Game
second
Pass,
one is on Game Pass still. Maybe the first one might not be, but and the second one was a game we played on stream called Turtles Shredder's Revenge,
mhm.
which almost made my top five, except for the fact I had Cowabunga on the Cowabunga collection on there. So
You didn't want to look like a turtle fanboy.
no, it's
You wouldn't want to do that.
There it is.
But
Nice.
it was my number 2 game of the year. It was
Yeah.
almost my number 1 game of the year. I had a
Yeah.
lot of fun playing with that with you guys. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just they. It's like occasionally they get a remake or like a reimagining right, and that was such a love letter to Turtles in Time. It was just done so well. Like it had like a lot of modern fighting techniques that from beat 'em ups from well past when Turtles in Time was, like modern refinements, and just a great game. It wasn't $80. Like I actually released it at a good price point, and it was on Game Pass. Might still be on Game Pass. Probably still on Game Pass. Um, yeah, just a great fun time.
Awesome.
Good old fashioned
And-
fun.
And Fallout 76.
And
And
policy.
also
Fallout 76.
good
yes.
old fashioned.
Honorable mention.
Yes, honorable mention. How about you there, Mr. Marvel Shirt?
Well, I had Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which
Hey.
it was sitting right in that number 5 spot for quite a while. Like, and for the same reason Damon said, I had such a blast playing through it with you guys. Like,
Yeah.
it was so much fun. But the thing that ultimately took it off was that was pretty much the only time I played that game.
Hmm.
I didn't put any like just time on my own into it. So I think that's just what got me out of that one. But for all the things you said too, Rob, it was the perfect like get together with your buddies and beat 'em up.
Yeah. 6-player online co-op, right? Like that's
Yeah.
it's nuts.
And again, I guess taking from your list, I had Far Lone Sails and Changing Tides because I did play both those last year. And yeah, again, just all the same stuff you said. Like it's just this perfect little meditative, like, um, I played them both when COVID was just kind of winding down
Yeah.
there, so it was
Yeah.
just a perfect game for that time. Perfect games because I pretty much played them pretty close to back to back. But yeah, but the one that nobody had is Orcs Must Die 3.
Yeah.
Was nearly in my top 5. I've played that quite a bit this year, and I was just so happy that it finally came out from the Stadia lockdown it was in because it was a Stadia. It launched on
Timed
Stadia,
exclusive.
timed
Yeah.
exclusive on there. So I had to
One of
wait for it.
two.
I had to wait for it to show up on Steam, and it finally did this year. And yeah, you know what? If you like Orcs Must Die 2, it's all that plus more. There's some bigger castle sieges now, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun.
Right on.
Yeah. So we'll move on to biggest surprise of the year, but I gotta ask you guys, did you have trouble coming up with the biggest surprise of the year?
No,
No?
I had one right away.
Did you?
It's,
I had one
Yep.
too, yeah.
Oh wow. I actually like pulled up like a bunch of articles and I was like, yeah, I guess. So I'll just get mine out of the way. And these are the two things that actually like surprised me and like gave me some joy this year was the announcement of Hades 2 and and the announcement of the Castlevania DLC for Dead Cells. Like, I know they're gaming related and like not industry related, but nothing nothing else really grabbed me that I could think of for last year. So, Rob, why don't you hit us with your big surprise, your biggest surprise of the year?
Well, honestly, my biggest surprise was a game that that you actually really took to, and a lot of the world kind of came out of nowhere. Was the success of Vampire Survivors?
Oh yeah,
Just how it not only took over, whatever it launched on first there, then it came to
PC.
PC, then it came to phones, then it became the Among Us
yeah,
of indie darlings, right? And it's great because it's such a simple idea, but it's just like everyone I know who plays it, it's like, oh, I'm about 200 hours in, really getting good at it,
yeah.
and yeah, so that's what it was for me right off the bat. It's like the game that came out of nowhere. No one's had it on any sort of radar, and it just became like a worldwide phenomenon. So
And it's been cloned ever since.
Oh
yeah,
my
There's
goodness,
just
yeah.
so many, I see so many Vampire Survivors clones now.
Yeah.
Look.
yep.
That's your one. That's yours.
Yep,
too?
you
Okay.
bet.
Damon, why don't you hit us next?
My biggest surprise. So earlier this year, I don't know what I was thinking, but I pre-ordered a Steam Deck, but then I canceled it. I don't know why. I was like, no, I don't need a Steam Deck. Like, I've got my computer's right here. I sit over there. I'll just come and sit here. No, that was dumb. But I ended up getting a Steam Deck, and it was my biggest surprise of the year because, you know what? I'm playing my Steam library now. Because now I don't have to sit here. I can sit over there and like whatever. I can watch a game, a hockey game on TV. I can play a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's fantastic. It's saved me $36 on Game Pass because I canceled my Game Pass subscription. I'd be like, I got so much in my Steam library. I got to get through some of this. It's also cost me a lot more because I'm buying more games on Steam. But yeah, it was my biggest surprise of the year. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the future, what Valve's doing. Like their Steam OS is crazy. The fact that they're getting this to run on like a Linux compatibility layer is fantastic. The tinkering around with it, I'm starting to get into a little bit more, adding some things to it and whatnot. So we'll see if I manage to brick it here in the next month or two. Stay tuned. But the Steam Deck is legit. Definitely, it's definitely worth it.
Nice. Brent,
Very nice.
what was your biggest surprise of the year?
Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, always been a big fan of Harvest Moon. Was seriously impressed when they did Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town because it was, literally the best Harvest Moon game. So to see the remake of it from Marvelous was absolutely amazing. And out of the blue, they're just like, oh yeah, well here's a remake of Harvest Moon Wonderful Life, which is like the second best Harvest Moon game. And it came right after, Mineral Town. So when I saw that, I was quite happy because, always loved the Harvest Moon series. It has slid downhill. So Story of Seasons, has kind of taken over from that with actually making the good games. And so to see a remake of Wonderful Life coming out was seriously a real surprise to me.
awesome. I actually didn't realize that was a remake.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
those
Awesome.
have been the only two though of all the Story of Seasons games. Those Friends of Mineral Town and Wonderful Life have been the only two Harvest Moon remakes.
Gotcha. Well, while we're on you here, Brent, why don't you hit us with your biggest disappointment of the year?
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was Callisto Protocol. I actually got a chance to play it at a buddy's house. And, I mean, to each his own. But I just, I didn't like it. After you get to a certain point, it gets seriously repetitive. The mechanic is like the same all the time. And it has this very weird dodge mechanic where, You know,
I've heard people compare it to Punch Out. I've heard
yeah,
that literally the combat is Punch Out.
yeah.
That's
No, seriously, it is. It is.
yeah. And
And
once
the
they said
dodge
that, I'm like,
mechanic is just, you know, you're doing the L3 button. Now that's the button you move with, and you're pressing that and holding it
Oh,
to do. It was. I would have rather had a button like every other one. It's like you
yeah.
move the joystick in direction, tap the button. But this thing where you've got to like push down on the L3 and then try and move at the same time to execute these moves. Well,
Hmm.
let's just say you don't always execute the move properly or at all in some cases.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, Damon said it perfectly. Like Punch Out, it's just repetitive, repetitive, repetitive. You know, you get killed or the enemy drops. It's just like, um,
I
yeah,
also heard you
super
don't have to time the
fluid.
dodges. You can just hold the stick in a direction and then he'll just dodge out of the way. That's what I heard. I don't know if
Oh
it's true.
man,
It's hearsay.
man, oh man. All right, Damon, why don't you hit us with your biggest disappointment of
Well,
2022?
my biggest disappointment, you guys, it was that big Xbox first party game, right?
Oh, that one.
You know that one?
Yeah,
It didn't exist.
yeah.
That was my disappointment. There was no there. What happened? I get it. We're in the fourth year of the pandemic now, or something along those lines. But yeah, I was really looking forward to some first party Xbox goodness, but it didn't happen. That was disappointing for me.
Yeah.
And now I've shunned Game Pass. Way to go, Xbox.
I mean, the momentum they built up at the end of 2021 with Halo and Horizon 5, like,
Yep. And Psychonauts 2, last
oh,
year's
yeah,
my
yeah.
game of the year from
Right,
last
yeah.
year.
Right, right, yep.
It was like 3 home runs, and then the last guy to go to bat, he just
Yeah.
pooped the bed and just
Yeah.
oh, all right. Rob, what's your that was your big one, Damon? Okay.
That was it. Yeah, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
My disappointment was that there was nothing.
So speaking of nothing, my biggest disappointment of the year was Diablo Immortal.
Oh, good one.
Came out as a
Right.
money-grubbing mess of. Honestly, like once you beat that first level and they rake you in, it's like it's got for a Diablo game to have all of the monetization thrown at you that an old iOS game would have had, or an old if you can buy a battle pass for the game, which by itself, okay, it's a battle pass. Lots of games do battle passes. The battle pass applies per character, not per game. So if you have a warrior,
Ooh.
one battle pass. You have a magician, another battle pass. Like just everything they did. Like you hear horror stories of these guys spending like these rich YouTuber type folks, like us,
10
just
grand.
wealthy,
Yeah, yeah.
just dropping the money, spending $50,000 to try and get a rare gem, and not getting it. Like it's absolute. Just to go from where Diablo came from to there was an absolute debacle. And also Amico. I brought that there. See, remember,
Yeah.
remember, yeah.
Never forget.
Never forget.
Who made that video that you sent us, Damon? Tom.
Like H Bomber guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that video is that should be on our 2022 best of journalism for the year. I don't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called, what is it?
Oof. I
it's
think you're so great.
Roblox or oof.mp3 or whatever is
Yeah.
the name of the video. They're talking about the source of a sound in the infamous Roblox platform.
Yeah. And it just
in his digging to try and find the source of this sound that he thought was humorous, there were many layers that he got to uncover.
An hour of Tommy Tallarico.
Yeah.
Peeling like an onion.
Yeah. check it out if you haven't.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll actually put a link to it in our show notes here because
Yeah, it's worth it. It's a long video, but
Yeah.
it's fantastic. It's honestly one of the greatest pieces of gaming journalism I've ever seen. And it sounds ridiculous to say that, but it honestly is. It's captivating. It's hilarious.
Very entertaining. Yeah.
There's things that I literally cannot believe. And it's
yeah,
incredible.
Yeah.
all of them relate to Tommy Tallarico.
All of them related to Tommy Tallarico.
Even if you have a passing interest in the Amico, or even like some of the history of like game development in itself, and being accredited in the gaming industry, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's awesome. Basically, Damon gave us the warning, like, you're not going to be able to stop watching it. And I was like, before bed one night, I'm like, I'll watch 10, 15 minutes of this. Next thing I knew, it was like an hour later. I'm like, I gotta go to bed, but this is... yeah. So my biggest disappointment of the year is that somehow Bobby Kotick is still at the helm of Activision Blizzard. Like,
I totally forgot he still is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got somehow that's still a thing. So
Probably still will be.
yeah, it's any other company where they go through something like that, that's the first thing they get rid of. But somehow he has stayed the course. And the other just little thing I'll add is G4 shutting down. And
that's a good one.
What a debacle that turned into. Like, I had such high hopes for that, and
they had hype coming back as well.
Yeah, and the things it turned into, and then Adam Sessler, I don't know if you've seen recently, has lost his damn mind. Apparently he's not.
No, I haven't.
Oh, apparently he's not a gamer. Don't call him a gamer.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And he hates gamers now.
Yeah. Just
He's been
just
going
Google
off on Twitter a wee bit.
Yeah, Google Adam Sessler Twitter rants.
Oh. Yeah.
I enjoy a good Twitter rant every now and again.
Absolutely.
Oh, you will love these.
Well, we'll move on into predictions now for 2023, and as I was mentioning, we can talk about what
We're
you
into prediction. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, did I miss something?
I lost something there.
Oh, no, sorry, not into predictions. We got one more category before the games that we're looking forward to in 2023. I'll start this off. I got 3 of them.
I lost a minute there.
No. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Or is it... No, it's just Zelda, or Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
The new Breath of the Wild game.
Yeah. Pikmin 4, which apparently is going to come out this year.
Yeah.
And, of course, Spider-Man 2 coming to PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are my 3 big ones I'm waiting for. Rob, what are your...
Well, quickly, mine are Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh.
Because I want to lose another 150 hours of my life.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate Diablo Immortal, I'm still looking forward to Diablo 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Hoping it actually comes out next year. With Blizzard, it's always a roll of the dice, but it's supposed to.
This year.
I thought so.
Yeah.
The 6th of June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Blizzard has
I know.
ruined a lot of our lives lately, so... And not just us, like lots of other former employees, but Bobby Kotick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But that's mine. Yeah.
Damon, what are your...
So, obviously, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild it's maybe the best game ever made. Maybe. It's got big shoes to fill, Tears of the Kingdom, but I'm excited to play it. And I'm ready for Mr. Howard to wow me with Starfield.
Oh, you're serious?
Yeah.
That's coming out.
No,
that's...
I mean, maybe it's coming.
I think I got Yeah, no, it's supposed to. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
But it's been a while since we've had a Bethesda game. Fallout 76 doesn't count, and um, yeah, I'm looking forward to Starfield. I like it. I'm kind of a sucker for that space kind of sci-fi
Oh yeah.
opera kind of. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Mass Effect is still that's kind of the gold standard for me for as far as a trilogy goes. That's probably the best gaming trilogy there is. Definitely my favorite sci-fi game.
Excellent.
Let's see what Starfield has. Yeah.
And Brent, what do you got for looking forward to?
I've got oh god, what do I got here? I've got Silent Hill 2 remake,
Hmm? Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I'm a big Silent Hill fan. I've heard they've dumbed it down though. It's not as scary because they don't want to harm people. So that kind of disappoints me. Yeah, Rob's like, yes.
Maybe
Well,
I'll
we know
pick
what
it
you're-
for October.
Yeah, we know what you're playing this year, Rob. The Day Before, which is a new MMO survival game with zombies that's coming out,
Oh.
which I'm very interested in. And even though I haven't finished Spider-Man, I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man 2.
Well, you got some time now.
yeah.
You got a little time
do.
yet. Actually, I don't think they've given a date
Little
yet.
bit.
Just year.
No, they
So
Yeah,
that could you could have almost a whole year to finish that up.
true. I wonder when they're going to throw Wolverine in the mix in there too. If
Oh
it's coming
boy.
out this year.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll eat each other's lunches like that.
Maybe
It's
not.
hard to say.
Yeah, might be interesting.
Well, since we're on you, Brent, and you're kind of
Yeah.
our Sony guy, why don't you read us what your Sony predictions were from last year?
I will indeed. Should I just do all of them, or are we going to do them one by one?
No, just read all the ones you had, or no, just your Sony predictions.
Well, so we're just going to go Sony now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had that Sony would buy Take-Two, and didn't happen. And,
Right.
yeah.
What? So that was
and
your
then we're
one.
gonna go-
That was your one prediction from last year. For
Sony, yeah.
yeah, and so what do you got for this year?
For this year, I mean, it's basically, I would call it a prediction at this point. It's almost a done deal. Is this new PS5 redesign? Supposed to be a slimmer PS5, more compact. Apparently, developers have it in their hands, and they say it is really damn awesome. And tinier motherboard, a lot more compact. The whole system is in general more compact. I still think it's going to have a drive bay though, just because they're talking about this drive that will go with it. And yet they've claimed and said that it is not compatible with the current iteration of the PS5 digital.
Oh.
And yet there's no hardware, no software changes. So that would lead me to believe it's not a plug-in drive. It probably has to slot into the machine somewhere. I mean, that would be my guess, because I can't see how they would just like clamp it on. More like old school systems where they kind of, stuck things in slots.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
I can see that's where it's going,
Okay.
and could be interesting.
Okay. That's your big one for this year.
That is my big one for Sony.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damon, what do you got for Sony this year? Or sorry, what did you have for Sony last year? And then
So last year, I was saying that Sony needed to get their butt in gear and get a Stadia, or not a Stadia competitor. Who am I kidding? Oh, a Game Pass competitor. No one really needs to be a Stadia competitor anymore.
no.
Oh.
But yeah, so they kind of did, ish. It's a multi-tiered, complicated system that I don't really understand because I don't have a PlayStation 5. But maybe you guys can speak to its usability or its adoptability.
Well, I subscribe to the lowest tier, which is basically what the PS Plus was before, where you get your you get the online stuff and you get your 2 free games a month. what they added was just basically they have some demos, and the only game they've done day and date is Stray so far,
Yeah.
and the rest has just been all catalog. It's just all Sony catalog
Yeah.
games in the other tiers. And I can't even remember how those are broken up. I think in the second tier up, they have like more third party games and stuff. And then the
Yeah, they
top.
have some.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you're right. They do. They do. That is the way they're kind of organizing it.
Yeah, like the
And then,
third party games are in the second tier along
yeah,
with a bunch of other Sony titles. But then the top tier is that's where like the PS2 and PSP, like the really old catalog games are.
yeah, and now
So
they've kind of changed the PlayStation Plus. I mean, it's not PlayStation Plus anymore. So now the PS3 streaming is only in the top tier
right, yeah.
because you can only stream the PS3 games because they don't.
Yeah.
They're not able to run them natively. So that's
Yeah.
in the very top tier, along with some other game demos and some high end stuff. And yeah, so it's not kind of the
So yeah, it's as
Uh,
They
complicated
still
as
got some work to do.
yeah.
Because like,
Yeah.
how do you explain Game Pass? You're like, oh yeah, you get Game Pass. You get all the stuff on it. Whereas Sony, it's like, okay, well, there's this tier and there's this one, but you gotta have, if you want this, you gotta do this. I don't know.
Yeah,
Seems like they could refine that idea a little bit more.
I think they'll
absolutely.
eventually phase it out. I think they were just trying to, keep customers in and saying, okay, well, if you don't want to pay for all this, you can just keep paying for what you were already paying for, kind of thing. And then,
When
but
I
if
look-
you want to pay more, here's all this shit.
When I look at the catalog of games, like I'm excited to get a PlayStation 5 because I've missed so many Sony games. So when I look at these catalog games, I'm like, I haven't played these. This would be great value for me. But is there a lot of people like me out there that have just kind of skipped over like generations of PlayStation? Not so much. It's a juggernaut in gaming. Oh, Ryan
Yeah.
has too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I don't know. Like, I think I played everything I wanted to, like PS3 to kind of 4 days. So, yeah.
Mm.
What So you had a couple other predictions for?
Oh yeah,
for-
some new Final Fantasy news, which is kind of a given. That's some low hanging fruit right there. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there's some new Final Fantasy games. And one that I really wanted that I haven't seen that seems like a miss is a new Wipeout announcement. It seems
Yeah.
primed for some fast futuristic racing.
Maybe with the PSVR 2 coming out, maybe we'll see some
There
of
you
that.
go.
Yeah.
So what do you got for this
Yeah,
year
they-
for Sony?
They did just put out a list, but I didn't check the list to see if Wipeout was there.
Yeah, I didn't see that. So for this year, my prediction, speaking of Final Fantasy, like Sony just seems kind of buddy buddy with Square Enix, and I feel like there's been a lot of backroom kind of some murmurs and chats, and I feel like that would be right up Sony's alley if they were to purchase Square Enix, and their profits and revenues are down, and then if they bought them, I would have to get a PlayStation. They would force my hand finally, and I would have to get one.
Well, the shortage is over, Damon. So you
Yeah,
can just
okay.
You'll be able to just walk into your
Yeah.
Walmart and get one.
That's right. I can go to the Zellers that's opening right away and then
Yes.
get my PlayStation.
There's your biggest surprise of 2022 there.
yeah.
Finding a PlayStation
Zellers.
5 at Zellers.
At
Yeah.
Zellers,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Uh,
Rob, what were your? Oh, sorry, that's it for you, Damon. That's your.
That was- yeah,
okay.
that was it.
okay.
Time for Rob's reckoning.
Rob's reckoning.
yes. I didn't get a damn thing right with Sony. Spoilers. Going to see first reiteration of the PlayStation 5 bracket Slim. No,
No,
that didn't happen.
you're not. You're second. Your next one here, though.
A much bigger push of Sony games coming to PC is like
We've seen more.
three.
We've
of
seen
them,
more
a much bigger push.
Sony. We've seen more Sony PC games this year than we have any other year.
It's true.
So,
I guess when I
actually-
said much, I was picturing like more than a couple, but compared to the other years, yeah. So there you go. I'll take that.
yeah,
I'll take
Well, they're
that.
up
Half
there.
a point. Half a point.
half a point.
Ding it up.
Actually, they're going to be dropping. What was it? Returnal. I just saw the pre-orders for it on Steam today.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's yeah.
It's
Win, Rob.
happening.
But were you thinking more like back catalog? Do you think when you're talking about
I was
that?
thinking more of the modern ones. Like
Yeah.
they had announced Horizon Zero Dawn. They'd already had like whatever the other game was that I can't remember.
God of War.
God of War.
Uncharted.
What was that one? The Kojima one.
Oh,
Death
Something.
Stranding?
Death Stranding.
Yes, yeah, that was on there as well. And so this year, going way to left field,
Yeah. Ooh.
PSVR 2, both a critical and commercial success.
So is that what?
You can
So
hear the silence.
so in terms of baseball, we're talking like a lob here, or is that
Talking at least a double. At least a double.
At least a double. Okay.
I think the hardware specs, like they're going after the higher end of the VR, and I think if anyone's going to push it, I could see Sony doing it, and maybe with now that you can get a PlayStation 5 at every 7-Eleven you go to, they might be able to buy the hardware to support it as well. So I'm picking success for the PSVR 2, and going entirely against everything everyone else just predicted, finally releasing a decent Game Pass competitive service.
Ooh.
Yeah. Send your comments to makeusgrumpy@gmail.com.
Attention,
You have
Rob.
to walk before you can run. So I mean, maybe it could happen.
And that's fine. That's
So, my Sony predictions from last year. I apparently just thought that Sony had their credit card out and they were just gonna be. So I had Sony buys Sega, Sony buys Square Enix. Had that last year. Sony buys Capcom, so they could be Japanese brothers. Sony buys Stadia to get into the streaming market. And then
Yeah.
Damon during that mentions that I should strike that and add that they license Stadia instead. So that was
At the end of all that spending, did Sony file for bankruptcy? Was that on your predictions?
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, none of those came true. It seemed like a year of like everybody keeping their the big ones keeping their wallets closed except for was it Embracer Group, right? They seem to be the only ones who made a bunch of purchases this year. But my predictions for Sony this year is that they're going to reveal a new iteration of the PS5, but I'm thinking more along the lines of the Pro than just a new.
Oh.
Yeah. They're more Pro model. And my other prediction is that Sony's going to dabble in day and date titles for some of their Sony big games. They'll try it out and see what happens.
And that they're going to buy Sega.
And they're going to buy Sega.
Point Hospital on every PS5.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on into Xbox, and we'll let Damon start us off here.
Well, I was way out. I was half right on one of my 3 predictions. I said we won't see Avowed in 2023, and we didn't. But I also thought we would see a trailer, maybe with some gameplay.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything, not even a teaser.
No.
And
Nothing.
so I'm pumped for that whenever that comes out. It's not. I don't think we're gonna see it in. Anyway, I don't think we're gonna see it for a while. The Coalition, I thought they were gonna announce their new project they're working on, but I didn't think it was gonna be out until 2024. We haven't seen it yet, so who knows? They're just kicking the can down the road a little bit. And I thought Starfield would release and be riddled with bugs, as usual with Bethesda games, but it would still be a Game of the Year contender. That one I'll push to this year.
There you go. Add it to this year.
Bethesda game with bugs, but will still be fun. And then my predictions for this year, I think we're gonna see that Activision deal go through. I think it's starting to gain traction. That European competition group kind of just finally gave it its blessing, saying that Microsoft is the competitor, not the de facto standard, as Sony is the big dog. And an interesting prediction, I think Xbox wants to enter the VR space, kind of tying in with what
Oh.
Rob was saying, how Sony's going to be successful with it. And I think we're going to see some competition in that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I will say, Damon, you could be onto something there, because when I saw that news article today about the layoffs at Microsoft, I was trying to look at an article, and for some reason my web browser crashed, but it showed a dark black VR headset and mention of Microsoft.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Yep. So
Okay. Brent, why don't you share? Sorry, Damon, that was it for you. That's your.
That was it. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Brent, what's your prediction from last year, and what do you got for this year?
my prediction, excuse me, from last year were major changes for Game Pass this year. A price hike, which they said would not be done, but now it looks like they are going to do it. That day and date releases would actually slow down a bit this year, or that they would be offered at a discount, and it would be mostly third parties on Game Pass moving forward. Just because of cost, basically, that they weren't pulling down as much money as expected, putting the day and date releases on there, and to the fact that they weren't making as much money off of it, because I gotta admit, some people enjoyed them. I found Forza and Halo. Well, Halo was lackluster. Forza, I enjoyed the heck out of it at first. Had all these grandiose plans for it, and then just kind of fizzled off. I kind of lost interest in it. It just wasn't grasping me or holding me.
Gotta play the Hot Wheels then.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I can see major changes coming to Xbox in that way, where they may have if you have a Game Pass subscription, Game Pass Ultimate, you can get the game for like half price or something. But a day and date releases, I think it's going to be a little bit different moving into the future, just because of cost.
Okay, so wait, I lost track there. So we're still talking about your prediction from last year?
That was my predictions from last year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're adding it to this year too?
No, actually.
Oh, okay.
That was my predictions from last year, and it looks like some of them are kind of popping up. So
Okay.
We'll see how that plays out. My prediction for this year is I don't think we're going to see Starfield, and if we do, it's going to have a lot of problems. I've always been a big fan of their games, but I mean, really, when you look back, they haven't put out anything like really, really, really good since Fallout 3.
What was that really good Bethesda game you played, Rob? What was that one called?
Oh, that was a game called Fallout 76.
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, I highly recommend.
Recommend.
Nice.
So yeah, they haven't put anything out that's original or stellar, I will say, since Fallout 3. Fallout 4 was just a carbon copy. 76 was just a pale copy of Fallout 4 as an MMO. Best thing I think they put out in the last decade is probably Fallout Shelter. I mean, I know it's a little time waster game, but it was fun. There's a lot of depth to it if you really get into it. For me, it was kind of the most interesting thing they put out in a very long time.
Send your letters to makeusgrumpy@gmail.com.
Attention,
You
Brent.
tell me that you haven't bought Skyrim at least 4 times. You can't.
I have Skyrim on like every generation of systems.
That's right.
Since it came out in multiple systems of all kinds.
You got us all.
Doesn't have to be good. Doesn't have to be good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It doesn't have to be good. The bugs are part of it. Actually, I've started fiddling with Skyrim on Steam, and I'll tell you, the mods make a difference. Oh my God, like they
Guy
turn it from
Oblivion is coming out soon.
yeah, they
If you're
just
sure
make
about
it
that.
something.
The community
Oh, there
made
we
a
go.
remake of Oblivion with the Skyrim
Oh,
engine. Yeah,
Oh wow,
wow.
yeah, that's
that is
coming out.
good.
That would be interesting.
Just in case you need another way to play something like Skyrim, that's not really like Skyrim.
Okay.
Honestly, though, Oblivion was probably the superior game of the two, even though I enjoyed the hell out of Skyrim.
That email address again was makeusgrumpy@gmail.com.
Attention, Brent.
Attention, Brent.
Yes, there's that. This should be interesting.
Okay. Is that so?
So
That
yeah,
does that cover your Xbox, or you got one more?
no, that kind of covers my Xbox. I mean, again, Starfield. I'm just finding it very weird that, well, I mean, not weird, but a lot of the games that they were, really touting for last year, like, oh, well, into this year, and that's like, oh yeah, well, more into the spring. And that's like, yeah, yeah, okay, well, we don't know really, kind of thing, and so yeah, losing a tiny bit of faith. I mean, I'd like to see Starfield hit, and I'd like it to be good, but yeah, when I see it happen.
But you think it's going to be buggy when it releases? What if they released it last year?
Oh, I know.
I'm okay.
And
with
yeah,
Well, one of you is going to be right. It's a guarantee, right? So it either releases or
that's
doesn't
true.
release.
Yeah,
I'm just worried about microtransactions in the games. Like, I mean, I
It's a
can really
valid
see it.
concern.
yeah, it is.
Do you want to buy more oxygen so you don't die in space? It'd be $4.95.
Rob, what did you have for your,
Well,
your Xbox predictions for last year?
well, I said that Microsoft was going to partner with Sega. If you get real loose with that, like 2 whatever game it was that just came out, that was on Game Pass. So it's no, wasn't really anything.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention. There you go. And then I said that Microsoft would buy a small country somewhere in possibly called Spencerland. That we can't confirm or deny. Very well might have done that, but not in the news. So for next year, or this year, I guess, I'm predicting a new SKU for the Xbox console between the S and the X for power, like an S plus or X minus, like something in the middle for the power, I suppose. The like maybe the T or the U or the V would make sense, being between S and X. And a price increase for Game Pass, which I think is like the lamest low hanging fruit guess I could possibly make. But and that they're going to buy Nintendo. They're going to buy Sega. That's the,
Well, they did actually try to
one
buy
of these
Nintendo.
years we're going to be right about it. It's
Yeah.
yeah. So that's my Microsoft.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had we will see a new Xbox controller that mimics the PS5 features, the HT rumbles and the triggers and whatnot. Apparently I carried that one over from 2021. Of course I had Xbox by Sega. Yeah. And I also had Xbox by Ubisoft.
Maybe now.
I was all jacked because they just announced they're buying Blizzard Activision there, so
Right.
I thought the spend thrift was going to be just insane this year, just money everywhere. So I'm going to carry it over for a third year for my new predictions that Xbox is finally going to reveal their updated controller that'll compete with the DualSense.
right?
I have that the Activision Blizzard deal will finally go through this year. And my last prediction is that there's going to be a digital version of the X. No drive in it. Just it's a straight digital version.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That kind of aligns with Rob a little bit there.
Yeah.
I guess you could look at which means it's totally coming true.
Yeah.
yeah.
We got 2 people on that.
Yeah.
I know.
We're good.
Well, they did say last year they were kind of looking to go that way. You know, and I think that's because they found out Sony was kind of going that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob,
One could definitely come.
it definitely could, right?
Yeah.
Rob, why don't you share your Nintendo predictions from last year? We'll move on into Nintendo now.
Wow. Yeah, I can't believe I said some of these. Strike one, Switch Pro.
Wah, wah. Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. Then I said another hardware iteration. So, no. Nintendo takes another swing at add-ons with something like a Labo 2, or maybe a VR to go with the Switch Pro that totally didn't come out. So, yeah, that was real bad, real bad. But this year it'll be different because they're announcing a long-term partnership with Sega. Somebody's doing something with Sega this year. Damn it.
I've given up. I took my swings last year. I ain't putting them in there this year.
Yeah.
Sega by Sega.
I think they're going to announce a long-term, maybe an exclusivity kind of deal. Just the old-fashioned 1990s companies coming together. And I'm also predicting still no new Switch SKU this year. They're not going to release a new Switch of any sort. It's going to be another year of you'll buy it because, of course, you will from Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
Brent, why don't you hit us with what you had last year?
I had that we'll be seeing either a new high-end system or a system refresh for the Switch sometime this year.
Okay.
And who knows if it'll happen? Rumors are rumors. But there have been a few things out there about chipsets for the new Switch that supposedly isn't coming. Developers getting dev kits for it, but who knows whether it's all hearsay or not.
Exactly. So what do you got? What do you got for us this year?
For this year, Nintendo will announce a new system. I completely forgot I said that last year. But just based on all these little things I've heard this year,
Mm-hmm.
and especially in the last few months, kind of make me think that there might be one last hardware refresh coming for the Switch. For the Switch. Not a successor, but for the Switch. A little bit of a hardware refresh for the OLED. And then that'll carry into early next year when we'll hear something about some kind of either new or next generation Switch system or something new altogether.
Okay.
So, and I think they're finally going to pony up with the Metroid Prime games and actually either release them in a 3-pack or individually. But I think those are coming. I think those are coming this year, which
Okay.
I would love to see.
All right. I'll go next with my Nintendo predictions from last year. Nintendo buys Sega. I was just using the shotgun approach last year. Someone was going to buy Sega. I was sure of it. They just seemed primed for it. But that was not the case. And I also said that the Switch Pro would be announced and Breath of the Wild 2 would be the launch title. Dreams.
We're not really good at this, folks.
Yeah.
Well, they did announce a new Breath of the not Breath of the Wild 2 now. Tears
Yeah.
of the Kingdom OLED. That's kind of new.
Sure, let's give it a half point. Half point for sure.
Yeah. Honorable mention. Honorable
There you
mention.
go.
So, for this year, I have Nintendo will reveal their next console. It'll still be a handheld hybrid with just more bells and whistles. It'll be like the DS to the 3DS. They're a lot alike, but they're two separate consoles. But they will still take the same cards. Yeah.
Okay. Kind of like the Wii to the Wii U. Hopefully not.
Take that back. Just. But yes.
Oh man.
it'll be something like that, right? Like it'll be like the Wii to the Wii U, where it's like kind of the same, but some major bell and whistle that will make it its own thing.
Just upgrade it to 4K.
There you go. I also we'll see GameCube come to the Switch Online.
Oh,
Jeez.
Yeah.
okay.
And I don't know how to word this one to get the most mileage out of it. So we'll see.
Nintendo by Sega.
Nintendo buys Sega. We're going to see a new Mario game announced around the time of the Mario movie. But I don't think it's going to be like a Mario movie game. I think it'll be a new Mario title. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Big
2D
swings.
Mario.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems perfect, right? Like, they're building the hype. Nintendo hasn't had a real direct in... I can't even tell you how long. Like, they missed out on their summer one. They didn't have one, like they're around the E3 time or anything this year. They had nothing. They've had just a bunch of little ones. So, I don't know.
Indirects.
Yeah, indirects. So yeah, those are my Nintendo predictions for this year. Damon, what do you share what you said about last year?
So I was certain that we were going to see a Breath of the Wild 2 holiday launch, but now we know it's called Tears of the Kingdom, and it's not releasing last holiday. I was also pretty sure that we were going to see a fall Metroid Prime trilogy. I know Brent was talking about that. I also thought we were going to see Bayonetta 3 in the summer. Did that happen?
Yeah.
Was it the summer?
I think it did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Success.
Success. I thought we were gonna see Switch Pro rumors all year, but no Switch Pro.
That's a solid win right
That's
there.
Yeah. You get full points for that one.
For this year, we're gonna see a teaser for a Switch successor, not a update, but like an actual new Switch successor, but just a teaser.
Oh.
And I think it'll release in 2024. And the reason it's been taking so long is because it absolutely must have backwards compatibility. Nintendo wants to leverage all the software sales that they have and be able to capitalize on all the people that are in that ecosystem. Kind of like what they did with the OG Nintendo DS.
Right.
Because you could put Game Boy Advance games in it.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's kind of... And Sony's been really leaning into the backwards compatibility, and so has Microsoft. But the only thing that kind of goes in Nintendo likes to make you pay for the same games over and over. So I'm not too sure how that'll work, but
yeah, interesting.
That's what's happening this year for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about I'll start off the others. How about that? I'll let everyone else start off another one there. Where are my other predictions?
Right at the bottom there.
Right at the bottom. Oh yeah. Steam Deck is a huge hit, causing a rise in Steam Deck-like clones. People building little portable PCs to play their games on.
That's definitely a win. There's been a bunch of them now. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. Like what, 5 or 6 of them?
Oh yeah.
At least.
Yeah, like bigger name ones, right? Like the people are actually, yeah. So
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Rhinstradamus.
Not even close. uh, um. So, okay, I had to have a buying one this year. Okay, and I put it in the other here. I put someone buys Ubisoft. Okay, I don't think it'll be PlayStation or Xbox. Um, someone who's looking to get into more of a like a more into gaming, and so I kind of thought maybe Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Amazon.
That is a real home run swing, man.
Yeah.
That's,
I should have just shut up and said someone buys
you
Ubisoft.
could have left it there, yeah.
But because I wrote it down here, I put someone buys Ubisoft, maybe Amazon? Question mark. So, also under other here, I have the Steam Deck 2 is announced, but they also announce a home console component, kind of like a Switch, something you can dock, or it's like a Steam Deck that you dock like a Switch. But I kind of thought about that after. Can't you kind of do that already with your Steam Deck?
Yeah, it's got a dock. It's sitting right here.
And you can plug it into your TV with that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It came through, Ryan.
Oh. This is... So, okay. I'll just stick with Steam Deck 2 announced. How about that? And the last thing, this is my way out there one, okay? Konami holds another event similar to their Silent Hill event where they announced like 20 Silent Hill games, whatever it was this year. Like, they got 1 billion developers working on all these Silent Hill games. So they have another event like that, except for Metal Gear games.
Sure, yeah.
I'm pointing to the outfield.
Yep. It's good to have these predictions.
Uh-huh.
It is.
So, those are my others. Rob, why don't you hit us with it? What your others were last year.
All right. So, last year I said big Sega news this year. They do something to get back in the limelight. They announced the Mini 2. It's not really. It's not a big news. That's tiny news, but it was fun news. You couldn't buy it here in Canada because we don't count, but that was there. Sonic Frontiers will be at
Sega's tagline is Sega F Canadians.
Sega, because Canada doesn't count.
Sorry, carry on.
This one I can't believe I actually predicted. I was Sonic Frontiers will be at least Sonic Generations good, and I think as Damon would attest, it was critically well received. It
was a good game. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good game. Yeah. There's some technical issues with it, but I mean, that's gaming now. That is what it is.
Honestly, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. And the Amico does finally come out, but sells less than the VCS. Now, if I just had the second part of that sentence, I would have been bang on, because they did indeed sell less than the VCS, which is 0.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's still not out. Still not out. But spoilers, it will tie into my coming predictions. Which, my predictions for this year, Amico does not release this year, and that Intellivision declares bankruptcy. With a bonus for Tommy Tallarico goes to jail. That may be bonus points. I don't know if that's slander, and hopefully his algorithm doesn't pick up I said that.
Yeah, you don't want Tommy after you.
And then I got a couple of fun.
Tommy, you can email us at makeusgrumpy@gmail.com.
Yes.
Your mother will be proud.
Your mother will be proud. Absolutely. I was not prepared. Next one, Sega announces a new console, finally stepping back into the gaming wars. that's more of a like a big swing, but the next one is my really big swing. This is the one that, with my heart, I want to believe. Based with all of the revenue from the Steam Deck and the all of the love they're getting back, being back in the video game space, Valve announces Half-Life 3.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, I could get behind that one.
Yeah, yeah. I think the world is ready, Gabe. It's been ready for 20 years.
Yes.
Please bring back Half-Life. I mean, Half-Life Alex did really well. They obviously put a lot of love into it. It's just kind of a testing ground. Let's see how they respond to it. Just a little taste of Half-Life. And
Awesome.
that's mine. There we go. All right.
Brent, why don't you hit us with your other?
I didn't have anything from last year, but I do this year.
Oh no, you
had
did.
one from last year.
Yeah, you did. You
I
betcha.
did. It didn't show up on the thing.
Yeah.
Hang on.
It's above mine.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm not seeing it. Just says other and it's blank. Oh, that's the 2021. Well, wasn't that the 2021 we were looking at?
No, 20. This is the from the predictions of 2022.
No.
If you can't find it, we can read it for you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could, because I'm looking at it here and it shows blank. And then, hang on. And then, yeah, I'm looking at the other one and it shows blank as well. I can't see it at all. So, yeah, sure.
You had handheld and portable gaming will see a huge resurgence because of streaming and the Switch. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I would have said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's all we're
that was absolutely 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yeah. I
Another
think
win for us.
Steam Deck kind of also would be a proof right there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's lots
I
of
mean,
cool
just-
little handhelds this year.
Yeah.
That one with the crank. Can't think of the name of it right now.
The play date.
The
Playdate,
Playdate, yeah. And then that premium one too came out. BSPGA one. Analog.
Analog Pocket.
Yeah, the
Analog
Analog
Pocket.
Pocket.
Yeah.
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 So I mean,
And they just added WonderSwan support to the Analog Pocket.
yeah,
And you also had that Valve would buy Sega.
yeah.
So
They did?
1 for 2. That was
Everybody buys Sega.
Yeah.
everybody's buying Sega.
Yeah.
So what do you got
Oh.
for this year, Brent?
I have. Well, it's kind of weird because I didn't include it in the Sony stuff because I wasn't thinking at the time. I think with the success of the Switch and the Steam Deck and other portables, Sony's going to be looking at putting in another PlayStation Portable or some kind of variant of it. And I haven't seen anything yet, not even any remote rumblings out there on the interwebs, but I'm hoping. I mean, Sony's got a great catalog of games. They've got way more backing than they did for third-party stuff with the PSP and the Vita. And, I think they're a little bit more mature in the sense now that they know that if they support a handheld, that it could do well. Having seen what Nintendo and Valve have done.
Right.
So I think at some point, maybe not this year. I mean, because I think they want to get the PSVR 2. They don't want to steal that thunder and get those games going. But I could see at some point, even if it's just a download or stream kind of system, and as a kind of a companion to the PS5, but still portable and will also have its own games as well. So kind of like almost like a hybrid version of a portable.
Okay.
So yeah, could be interesting. Uh, I added this in just recently in the last few days. But yeah, that somebody will buy Ubisoft, but I think it's actually either going to be Embracer Group or Tencent.
Hmm.
Because at this point, somebody's got to step in and rescue them, or it's going to get bad.
Well, they've canceled, like, since June or July, they've canceled 10 titles
I
that were in
know.
development.
Yeah,
One of
it's
them
just
being
wild.
one of them being a new Splinter Cell
I
game,
know.
and they pushed out
I
Skull
wanted
and
that too.
yeah, and they pushed out Skull and Bones again too.
Yes,
So
they did.
yeah,
Yep.
so when they start liquidating assets like that and like shutting projects down, that's I don't know, it's kind of a good indicator.
Yeah.
Speaking of
indeed.
shutting projects down, do you guys want to hear my prediction from last year? My other prediction?
Ooh.
If
You're
you were done, Brent.
yeah.
I have one more, and then yes,
yeah, go.
I'm actually really intrigued on hearing this.
Go.
Everybody's gonna laugh at this. Nobody buys Sega, but I think Sega's going to come out with a really big announcement this year at some point. May not be a new console, and it probably won't be anybody buying them. But I think they're going to be doing something big this year, for some reason.
Okay.
I just have a feeling.
All right.
All right, over to you, Demon.
Go Sega.
Let's hear it.
Go Sega. So my last year's other prediction, I thought we were going to see somebody leave the gaming market. Specifically, I called out Stadia dying slowly and quietly.
Full points.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh,
Oh
man.
yeah, oh yeah. They tanked it in pretty good. And then for this year, my other, and it kind of ties in when everyone's saying Sega's going to do something. You ready? Dreamcast Mini.
Ooh.
sorry. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dreamcast
Yeah.
Mini. The world
Yeah.
is ready. I am ready.
Sure.
We are ready for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like that one. I mean, they've done
Yeah.
their Genesis minis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So they're gonna skip right over the Saturn, eh? That's
Yeah. No, they're
That's
going to
hateful.
pretend
That's,
Saturn didn't happen. Yeah.
There's a lot of love for the Dreamcast, so I mean that.
There is. There absolutely
A
is.
lot. I'd get it. I'd love to play House of the Dead with a Dreamcast-ish controller again. It was pretty badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, the box for it will be 90% Dreamcast controller. That's yeah, that'd be great. I'd get behind that.
Yeah, man.
Well,
I
So-
could dig it.
is that's your big one?
That was
for
it.
Awesome.
Sounds like everybody wants Sega to do something.
Yeah.
Do something, Sega.
Yeah. Sega, come on.
Let someone buy you. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, guys, and we've I think had some interesting. My favorite part was actually transcribing last year's show. Like, I had so much fun with that. I was like, oh, it's just so close on that one, or so far out of left field.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so. But yeah, I think if we're all done, Rob, you want to take us home? Take this crazy train into the station.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
No. Thank you all for watching our roundup show here. This is one of our favorite shows of the whole year.
Oh, yeah.
You can probably tell we had a blast. Please let us know what you think of our predictions. Like we've plugged about 14 times, we have email at makeusgrumpy@gmail.com. Let us know what you think and how far off we are and who actually will buy Sega. And if you're Tommy Tallarico, tell us why you won't go to jail, and that was a slanderous thing to say. Also, yeah, check out our stuff on the Facebook at search for
Yeah.
Grumpy Old Gamers. We've got all sorts of news articles. We post reviews sometimes. This is where we post the majority of our content. We've also got a website, but maybe don't try to go to that for a while because I'm going to actually be moving it to a different provider and it may be broken for a while. So don't try the website for a while. But you can also catch the audio version of this podcast at we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast,
Alexa.
some other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, just search. Take your favorite podcast provider and search for the Grumpy Old Gamers, and you'll find us there. And as always, once every months, we do a podcast. So check us out. As we appreciate you checking us out, and we will catch you on the next one. Have a great night, everyone.
All right. Good night.
Thanks for coming.